Hey there, welcome to my channel. This is a read-along from a book called The Fox Who Read Bedtime Stories. Let's go ahead and dive right into the story. Once upon a time in a realm not so far away, nestled between hills that giggled in the breeze and rivers that sparkled with laughter, lived a little girl named Ella. Now, Ella didn't live alone. Oh, no. She lived on the edge of the Whispering Woods in a cozy cottage with ivy-covered windows and a chimney that always puffed sleepy curls of smoke. But despite the coziness, Ella wasn't fond of bedtime. You see, her big brother Jasper used to read her wonderful stories every night with funny voices and wild sound effects. But now that he'd gone off to boarding school, bedtime had become a quiet, lonely thing. Her mother, you see, worked night shifts and her dad lived across the sea. And so, with no one to chase away the dark, Ella would often find herself huddled under her covers, listening to the scary whispers of the wind. One Tuesday evening, though, as Ella had just curled beneath her quilt, she heard a soft thump land on her window box. She peeked up, her heart giving a little jump, and locked eyes with a red fox. A fox wearing a blue velvet coat and a pair of wire spectacles perched delicately on his nose, and in his mouth what looked like a leather-bound book. He tapped gently on the glass with his paw, and when Ella opened the window wide-eyed, the fox dropped the book onto her bed, cleared his throat, and spoke. Yes, spoke in a warm, gravelly voice that rumbled like distant thunder. "Chapter 1, he announced, curling his tail neatly beneath him. The girl who forgot how brave she was. Now Ella stared, her mouth forming a perfect O. This talking fox, you see, was quite a surprise. "Bedtime stories mustn't be skipped," the fox said with a wink. "They keep your dreams in good shape." And with that, he launched into a tale of cloud pirates and sky islands of a girl who tamed thunder with kindness. His voice painted pictures in her mind, his pauses as comforting as the lull of a lullaby. And when he finally closed the book, Ella felt a warmth spread through her, chasing away the loneliness and fear. The fox then gave her a small smile, bowed his head, and said, "Good night, Miss Ella." Before leaping gracefully off the windowsill, Ella watched him go, a tiny smile gracing her lips. From that night on, the fox became a nightly visitor. Sometimes he brought tales of mystery, of talking trees and star-filled seas. Sometimes he shared poems that made her giggle, like verses about a snail who took part in a hare race, or a frog who dreamt of flying. And sometimes he sang lullabies wrapped in parchment and tied with string. Ella looked forward to his visits, her heart swelling with joy at the sound of his voice. But one rainy night, she forgot to open her window. As the wind howled outside, Ella waited, her heart pounding. Had the fox been blown away by the storm? Was he all right? An hour passed, then another. The forest seemed unusually silent, and when the clock struck 10, a wave of sadness washed over her. Then, snuggled beneath her covers, she closed her eyes and wished for the fox to come through her window and read her a story, and wouldn't you know it, she dreamed. She found herself in a grand library where moonlight poured in through tall windows, and there by a roaring fireplace sat the fox, a fresh story in his paw. "I couldn't reach you tonight," he said gently, "but stories always find their way to the ones who need them." And with that, he began to read. When Ella awoke, her window was still closed. But on her pillow, she found a tiny bookmark shaped like a curled fox and a note that read, "Your story is still being written. I'll be back tomorrow night." And he was every night, every chapter, weaving magic into her life, reminding her that even in the darkest nights, stories, like stars, could shine through the cracks in her curtains. For Ella was no longer a girl who feared the dark. You see, her heart was full of stories. The day before Milo met the dream train, he overheard his mom talking on the phone. He wakes up 5 times a night. I haven't slept well since he was born. Oh, Dr. Bloom, is there nothing we can do? She hung up, sighing, then walked into Milo's room. His eyes flew open. You okay, honey? She asked. Just thinking, he said, squeezing his teddy. But it wasn't true. He was thinking about how much he wished he could visit a land of chocolate rain and marshmallow mountains, a place where no grown-ups ever went. One where he could be anyone or anything, just for a while. He wanted a magical adventure, not another lecture about sharing or a reminder to make his bed. Maybe if he wished really hard, his room would transform into a fantastical place. Then he could explore all day, then return home without anyone knowing the difference. He sighed. Adventures only happened in books. Real life was boring and predictable. Just as Milo turned to face his ceiling, a gentle chime echoed in the air. Whoa, was that a train? He sat bolt upright. Now he was sure. A train unlike any other, with carriages of pearl and gold, pulled up outside his window. No smoke puffed from its engine, only sparkling stars. Its wheels left no tracks, yet glided effortlessly across the rooftops. The sound of rushing wind was its song. It halted right before his window, its final stop. For a moment, Milo couldn't breathe. Then he crept closer to see a door slide open, revealing a tunnel of swirling stardust. Suddenly, a sleepy voice called, "All aboard, last chance." This train only stops for sleepy hearts and wandering minds. Milo hesitated, glancing at the door. Should he stay in his comfortable bed or follow this magical train? What if his parents stopped him? Well, then he'd never get to visit a land of chocolate rain and marshmallow mountains. Taking a deep breath, Milo slipped out of his window and onto the train. As the first light of dawn touched the sky, the bakery began to fade. This is the Midnight Bakery. A spoon of moonlight, a dash of dreams. It was exactly midnight when Theo first saw the golden spoon. It lay on his windowsill, gleaming faintly even in the dark, nestled beside a scrap of parchment that smelled faintly of cinnamon and stars. Theo blinked. A bakery? Now? The spoon gave a little jingle like it was laughing, then a soft creak. He turned and gasped. Where his closet used to be stood a door shaped like a croissant, outlined in warm golden light. Theo, still in his pajamas, clutched the spoon and stepped through. Inside, he found the most magical kitchen he'd ever seen. Rolling pins rolled on their own. Butter danced across warm pans. A whisk stirred a bowl of glowing batter. And in the center of it all stood an old woman with dough in her hair and fire in her eyes. "Ah, the helper has arrived," she grinned. "Welcome to the Midnight Bakery, child." Theo stared. "Who are you?" "I'm Madame Baguette," she said, handing him an apron embroidered with tiny stars. "And tonight, you'll help me bake comfort into the world." All night, they made magical pastries, crescent croissants for restless sleepers, moon muffins for lonely dreamers, warm caramel buns for those who miss someone too far to reach. Each treat held an emotion, stirred and shaped and baked with care. Theo learned to knead with intention, to stir with love, and to whisper wishes into rising dough. He even made a cookie for his mother, who had been quiet and sad all week. A smile cookie filled with orange zest and honey help. Madame Baguette nodded in approval and slipped it into a delivery satchel labeled "East of Worry, third window left." As the first light of dawn touched the sky, the bakery began to fade. Madame Baguette handed Theo a paper bag. "For you. When someone needs a little light." Theo opened it later that morning. Inside was a single perfect roll, warm, golden, and glowing gently. The moment he shared it with his mom, she smiled. And the golden spoon returned to the sill, waiting for the next midnight. Do you like magical stories? Check out this playlist for more. or check out this story about a boy who could make toys come to life. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an adventure.